Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with another replay of one of my favorite Protosses from China. Of course, the other one being Max said. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an introduction to IG Gym, Invictus Gaming's Gym. And there we have QuanticHyun in the upper right-hand corner, congratulating Jim on his victory versus EG. And of course, Jim is no idiot. He's not like he can't speak English. He just says thanks, yeah. But I want to say, I think that with the most recent patch that we downloaded from Blizzard, the 2.08 one, I think that they actually added in new music. Not bad. I was actually thinking to myself that it was actually embedded with the map file that they're playing on, and I'm thinking, you know, these guys are actually playing in some kind of tournament that had its own music implemented with it, and it would be absolutely badass if there was, say, a map pool that did have its own music integrated with it. I mean, think about it. When we talk about Day 9, or excuse me, when we examine what Day 9 is talking about, there are certain points in a game, say versus Zerg, or versus Terran, or versus Protoss, where we have X amount of action. Like the 5-minute mark is where we see a lot of action, or a lot of pressure, or the 7-minute mark or the 8-minute mark is where we see a lot of danger for our Zerg players, and so on and so forth. What I'm thinking is if we could somehow like map out music on a map to actually coincide with that action, then it would be absolutely great. And I think that's kind of what we see it engineering for right now. That slight lump that you just heard would be ideal, I think, for a 6 pool. Like, you actually see the Lings getting cranked out right now, as if you guys did see a 6 pool, but no. Looks like QuanticHyun's opener was a 14 gas, 13 pool. Perfectly respectable. His aim is to kill some probes with this. But, oh no, and Jim is actually making the mistake of going for a Forge Fast Expand. Those Lings are going to be out and here at the natural before that cannon has a chance to finish. They're already in production, just watch. Oh no, they could have actually been out already, but it looks like we actually saw QuanticHyun opting to make the Queen first. I did make a mistake there in calling that out, guys. I do want to apologize. And it looks like we have Jim essentially taking his time and throwing down a cannon. He'll be able to throw down a pylon very soon, and then throw down another cannon, yet another one, to try and make a full wall up. But it looks like he might just barely miss that timing. If he's not careful, he's gonna see these Lings coming out inevitably. And it looks like he's actually trying to send most of them out in this direction. If they can get into the main, they can do some damage. They can cause some delayed mining time, especially when that metabolic boost finishes. But you know what? I don't think he's going to have that opportunity. No. He won't. So we actually see, I want to say, Jim in a relatively safe position. But, oh no, wait. What is this? Oh my god, Hyun is going for a Baneling bust. I actually thought this was going to be just some kind of a forward pressure into an Expo. But now this is getting increasingly dangerous for QuanticHyun as well as Jim. I mean, just if Hyun fails here, he's essentially going to have no way to come back. There's a pylon here making for a full wall off. The Forge here may or may not be able to help. I don't know. But Com tried doing this, and he didn't make it to the top 8 in the last Neo TV Star League, and this is something that anyone could do since Wings of Liberty, really. Here we go. First pylon falls. Zealot here kind of gets first contact, and it looks like these Lings... Ooh, boy, the sentry's out. These Lings almost get the Zealot. Zealot with only 1 kill, and that Photon Cannon really stealing all the kills from him. I think we see, you know, essentially Hyun in a position where he may not be able to hold, at least not forever. He's going to have to... Oh, no. Oh, no. This could actually do some damage. Every single probe that's pulled off the mineral line is precious to that of Jim right now. I mean, just look at the current income. If we check it out, it's 680 to 680, so both players are kind of even. We actually have Hyun kind of joining up behind this. He's like, okay, I made a mistake, but at the same time, he got some Lings in, which is all he really needed to do. And he's also forcing Jim to be extra defensive behind this. I was actually pretty much convinced that this was going to be an all-in. If I had just looked a little bit more at the production tab, then I might have been, you know, thinking the right way. Hyun, it looks like I think he's gonna have to take another hatch in the near future to really make up for this mistake. But at the same time, he's getting a few probe kills here and there. How many has it brought it to now? 4. Wow, okay. 5. Yeah, you can see that. And now those lings have just been shut down. What is this? 4 more over here. These are just for map control. And once we see Hyun realize that he has them, he'll put them to use, I'm sure. Yes, just scouting the map everywhere. Now I'm a little curious, you know, he's doing a good job of keeping his macro score low, but at the same time he did kind of forget to pull out another queen. I think it would be perfectly acceptable for him to go and take another third, because he really needs to get his production up. And the only way to do that is to get more hatcheries, and with more hatcheries, more queens. Now, we do have a bit of a normal follow-up from Jim, but it looks like he's going to move out and throw down some pressure immediately. I'm thinking the likes of which we will not see Hyun be able to hold against. The Mothership Core comes in and sees it, throws down Time Warp to actually delay mining time. And he sees that, more importantly, right now all that Hyun has is drones. That's it. He's getting ready to move out, I think. You know, I mean, if he was to throw down some pressure right now, it would definitely, I think, cause a lot of game-ending damage. But for now, we actually see Hyun basically forcing himself to crank out a Roach Warren. He is like critically supply blocked. I think if we were to actually see, Jim move out and try to get some Overlord kills here and there, he could actually cause game-ending damage to his opponent. The Phoenix now coming into the main and checking out just what is going on. And kind of stops right there. I think there's, you know, a bit more tech that could be scouted right here at the natural, especially given the amount of coverage he got with the last Phoenix that he sent there, or the last units he sent to scout that. That would be the Mothership Core, which is now still alive to the best of my knowledge. And here it is. It looks as though we see Jim opting to move out, almost getting ready to move out. And there's the Lings pick up on that, and a double Stargate follower coming up from Jim as well. I think we're going to see him crank out a lot of Phoenixes. He's already got a Forge that is upgraded +1/+1, I believe? No, just +1, and +1 is actually being researched in the main right now. We actually need to see a Twilight Council now from Jim to actually get +2. So here we go. This is the beauty, the highlight of just what we see from QuanticHyun. All these spine crawlers, they're going to allow him to kill anything that comes at him with the stage and like the composition that we have right now, save for perhaps Void Rays. And Phoenixes. Phoenixes, of course, can't be shot down by spine crawlers. But the biggest problem that this creates for QuanticHyun right now is it's causing him to float so many minerals because he's going extra defensive. He can't get his production out. He really can't get his production out. And with as many hallucinated Phoenixes as he's seen up until this point, he's probably pretty convinced that any Phoenixes he sees in the near future that are fewer in number than, say, these two, will actually be fakes. And this is going to cause him to get supply blocked right here. You know, he's been supply blocked. How many Overlords has he lost now? He's just lost so much since the beginning of this game. Banelings are always considered lost units, whether or not they hit something. But if we just check the losses right now, that's already 2.5 times what Jim has lost, and most of it was in the early game. Third base going down now for QuanticHyun, just like 12 minutes, 30 seconds into the game, guys. Come on. You're supposed to get that down by, you know, the 4-minute mark. But of course, I believe QuanticHyun is trying to be as careful as possible. Kind of playing Zerg like it's Protoss for just a few minutes, and if we check the income right now, it's strongly in favor of Jim. QuanticHyun, what are you doing here, bro? What are you doing? Come on. Alright, he is getting muscular augments as well, so that means we're going to see some, you know, some speedy hydros out. The creep spread, not as good as it could be, but, you know, such is what happens when you basically go with an opener that he did. Changeling did get picked up. This Roach forced to get unburrowed. And it looks like we're going to have a handful of roaches perhaps go over here and put some damage or pressure on the third. Actually, just one scouting, really. But something that's kind of worth highlighting is, it's... Hyun, he's got to make something happen. He's got to inflict some kind of damage on Jim. He really does. I'm thinking perhaps this is a part of Jim's training regimen. There were, in fact, I want to say Mr. Bitter said this on the Pulse. He said that, these players, they've been training ever since they heard about the Battle.net World Championships system this year. The Chinese guys, they all decided to go ahead and start playing on the North American server for a month, just get used to the lag. And then finally, they were even playing against each other on the North American server for any Korean players, like to test their own ping against any Korean players that they may end up encountering in the North American WCS. And it looks like, Jim tried to come in here and get some worker kills. Didn't quite work out. I know that Korea and China are two completely different countries, and I know you guys are smart enough to know that too. But the thing about it is, they're extremely close to each other, guys. I mean, if they're going to connect to the North American server and play against each other, they're going to have to basically get accustomed to that kind of lag, get accustomed to that kind of feeling. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Korean players had the same concept. Like, they were doing this for a month. So, yeah. I think those 4 roaches in lower right here are basically just waiting for the Protoss army to get out of position and then perhaps to conduct a run-by at this base. But that's not going to happen now that there's a double gateway wall off, if you will. This will, however, give them enough time to try and get some damage done. Spine Crawler's coming into best position that they can, but I mean, if we just check the... I think this is just going to be an A move and GG. I mean, the army supply difference that we see right now, the army count, is just way too out of control for Jim right now for him to actually lose. Double chrono warps going down, double time warps going down right there in perfectly Jim-Z style. And I think we're going to see him kind of move into QuanticHyun and possibly dance a little bit. Maybe. I'm not sure what this is all about, but now we actually see a significant deal of Corruptor, so maybe QuanticHyun can actually turn this around. Oh my god, I actually did not see those in production. +3 is on the way for our Protoss, but of course, oh man, double Void Rays versus this many Corruptors. I don't know who can come out on top. Checking the army count right now, I want to say that Hyun is getting in an even position with that of his Protoss opponent, but it's not going to favor him at all. I mean, Protoss versus Zerg, you got to have both superior upgrades and superior numbers. And behind this we see, Jim going for whatever he can. Jim doing whatever he can. There's a lot of drones here, and it looks like both players are kind of taking it into base trade scenario. The Hydras over here, gonna get melted. Yeah, get exploded too. Look at them, they're just blowing up right there in front of those Stalkers blasters. Raining down like fruit punch. I want to say that basically QuanticHyun is in an unwinnable position right now. I mean, sure, he's got supply if we check it out, but I mean, he doesn't have production. He lost 2 hatches there. He lost his natural and he lost his third. He's gonna have to rebuild those, and if you just check the income right now, it's just definitely not going his way at all. Checking one more time the worker supply, 73 to 56. I'm wondering who that is in favor of. Ah, yes. I wouldn't have been surprised to see if it was Hyun or not, because I mean, basically the whole reason why he's this far behind is because of that failed Baneling bust that only killed 6 workers. And now we see Jim moving out onto Hyun territory. Hyun just kind of refusing to leave the game, but I can't really blame him. There's so many Corruptors here. I want to say that perhaps we have Hyun in a winnable position in the near future. It just depends on the micro, depends on the engagements and everything else in between. And I think if Hyun perhaps did not do that Baneling bust, he would be in a better position than now. And that was a super aggressive blink by Jim onto Hyun's roaches, forcing him to remake whatever he can to try. He's trying his best to scramble out and get some defensive forces, but now the only mining base he has is at his natural. The only fully mining base he has is at his natural. 47 workers on it, and now we just have essentially Jim A moving here into Uh, it, it's a Hyun country, and that's about it. I mean, if we just face, if we just face, excuse me, if we just face it for just a moment, looks like we did have Hyun try and get some worker kills there, some more. But if we just face it, if he had a way to kill all of the Void Rays and the Colossi, then he would be in an okay position, which he has just done. And there's so many Corruptors here that I want to say these sentries wouldn't be safe. They would just corrupt onto them and, you know, they would melt from there. But, you know, I mean, only Hyun could actually pull something like that off. And he couldn't pull it off against Jim. Oh boy. So if you guys liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. I'm going to try and finish these up and then post them to Reddit. This has been Breaker. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes.